Let's move on back to the Premier League on Sunday, 4:30, Arsenal versus Chelsea. Now, Arsenal lose to Brentford, lose 2-0 away to a team that is ready to go. I felt like the fallout from this was somewhat patronising towards Brentford, because the meltdown from not all Arsenal fans, but some Arsenal fans, and I guess people in the press as well, I thought it was way over the top. Brentford will take points from another top six side. They're going to get loads of points this season. I think the fact that the name was Brentford made people think, oh, this is an outrage. I thought, yes, Arsenal were laboured, as they always seem to be at the moment. But it's one game, isn't it? Is the meltdown fair?
Yeah, it is, because everyone predicted it. That's why it's fair criticism. Because
but if you predicted it, why are you melting down?
No, because all Arsenal fans knew that their performance wouldn't be at the level it needed to be a side that was in the Championship last season and playing their first game in the top flight for 74 years. Everyone saw that fixture and went, if there's any team that Brentford, any big name that Brentford are going to beat on the first weekend, it's Arsenal, because they're fragile, they're mentally weak. The manager maybe isn't quite there at the moment in terms of the quality needed. And Thomas Frank, the Brentford manager, might be. The better manager might have been in Brentford's dugout as far as a lot of people are concerned. That weakness, that fragility of the last 5, 6, 7, maybe even longer years of Arsenal has become so evident that all football fans smelt blood for Brentford, including us when we predicted it. And that for me is a sad indictment of the culture that has happened at Arsenal over the last 10 years. I mean, look, I said previously, and some Arsenal fans criticised me for it, anyone associated with the last 10 years of Arsene Wenger, their previous manager's time at the club, that his last 10 years, and since he's left the club, shouldn't be anywhere near it right now. Because mentally, the club had gone into a mindset of reaching fourth place is a huge achievement. And they suddenly started aiming for fourth. And everyone started believing that if we finish fourth, that's okay. But if you aim for fourth and you fall slightly short, you might finish eighth 2 years in a row. Let's put it that way. Now, if you aim for first and you run the club like you want to be champions and you fall short, you might finish fourth. What is happening right now is all the other big clubs in England are pulling away from Arsenal. They've had to really have a root and branch review. I don't mind what they're doing in terms of their transfers. They've gone younger. They've gone for a different profile. Martin Odegaard's joining the club this week from Real Madrid. Aaron Ramsdale, few question marks there, but he's joining the club, a youngster. Odegaard's 22, Ramsdale's 23. Add that to Lokonga, Tavares, who they bought a little bit earlier on this year as well. Young players. You've got Saka, you've got Smith Rowe, you've got Martinelli, you've got Ben White, 23 years old as well. So they've gone for a younger profile of player, which means I think we should all, Arsenal fans especially, but the rest of us, dampen our expectations on the club, because I think this is more of a 5-year plan. And whether it's a 5-year plan to challenge for a title, I don't know. It might be a 5-year plan to be back in the Champions League consistently. I still don't see the owners, Stan Kroenke and co., as wanting to win a Premier League title. They don't approach it as if they want to win the league. You look at what the other owners are doing, and there's clearly a different mindset at Arsenal. But they've clearly, I think, got a long-term plan to get back in the top 4. And that means we all need to expect days like the defeat against Brentford. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I think that maybe that's it then. Maybe I've acclimatized to it already. I'm old enough.
Some people haven't, that's for sure.
That's it. I think maybe it's the fact that I'm old enough to. I remember when Arsenal were mid-table in the Premier League, so maybe that's it. I get what you're saying, and I think it's a relief, to be honest, that they are going younger, because it's so obvious now when it comes to transfers that has to be a huge part of 2/3 of your policy, and that's what you've seen with Leicester City in terms of how they've been able to get themselves back into the Champions League. So you're right in that aspect. I like a lot of the young players, but also at the same time, a lot of those young players won't be good enough. And so you need to move them on and get some money for it, because this is a Europa League team. I mean, it's not even a Europa League team. Sorry, I stand corrected. So when that happens, your aims have to change, because you haven't got the cash isn't there to go and get those players. That said, I mean, they have brought a lot of these youngsters in. I think Odegaard's going to address a real problem with the balance of the team, which he did a little bit last season. It'll be interesting to see how him and Smith Rowe continue to kind of develop together. Of course, they did last season quite a bit.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.